Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I have a phrase that I like to say in life that I think is very true, which is not all heroes wear capes. And this is exceptionally true when it comes to people that decide compensation. Because we have seen issues with compensation in the past, going all the way back to special mutant crystals that you got for purchasing units that had the wrong champions in them, and there are still people years later who swear they never got their compensation for it. Those of you who bought the crystals know who you are. Similar, Kabam said that they would take the accidental millions of free loyalty away from summoners that accidentally got millions of loyalty for losing an Alliance War match. And that also apparently never happened, so they just had like the greatest result ever. But if you have been paying attention at all to a story that my channel has been covering in the past week or so, actually maybe closer to 2 weeks, when the 7-star pool reset, there were several people that reached out to the channel saying, yeah, so all these great champions that made it into the basic that people are really excited to get, Warlock, Shang-Chi, the top of the list, Juggernaut. So I opened my 7-star crystal, and I even opened my class-based crystal that I had saved from Necropolis. And the champions that I was hoarding those crystals for weren't in the crystal, even though the top prize showed that they were in there. So it was not a case where somebody opened the crystal too early and then didn't see the champion. It was just the case that Kabam messed up. But because this didn't happen to the majority of the community, the fear was that Kabam would do nothing about it, and that people would just have to shrug their shoulders. And honestly, I think there might have been an era where Kabam did exactly that. Nothing. But this is a new era of Kabam, at least in some ways. I'm not saying that everything's great. Of course, I'm not trying to lie to anybody. This month, for example, has the worst side quest I've ever seen, and it makes it feel like everybody's being punked, and we have no idea why, especially when I get complaints that Kamala Khan wiped out entire rosters for a truly pathetic amount of rewards if you ended up getting past her anyway with the auto-block special node for this week's side quest. So we had several people, going back to the original problem, that put in help tickets talking about how this thing was essentially rigged. And what ended up happening was that Kabam said that if they sent out compensation, they would let you know. It was the copy and paste response we've seen for years. And so when I covered it, I thought, well, literally, I think I said in the video, good luck. I doubt Kabam's going to do anything about this. I don't even know what they could do anything about it. So you can imagine my surprise when I woke up this morning and had a direct message on Twitter from a subscriber who has an update on this very issue. So my man J2C had in his inbox something called 7-star crystal correction, otherwise known as 7-star crystal compensation, and it read as follows. Recently, an unexpected delay to the 7-star base pool update resulted in some summoners not having access to the correct roster of 7-star champions. We apologize for this error and have attached corrected crystals to this message for those who opened a crystal during the limited window while the error existed. So, to recap, let's say you went to get, let's say you opened a basic crystal, since one of these I think is a basic crystal, and you were going for Warlock, and Warlock wasn't in the crystal, so you accidentally got Titania. And you didn't have Titania. So on one hand, you're like, dang it, I wanted Warlock, but on the other hand, you're like, Titania is one of the greatest champions in the game, certainly one of the greatest 7-stars in the basic pool. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but for the moment it looks like they just gave them another crystal and didn't take away the champion from the crystal that was bugged, which I think for the record is the right move. But what an incredible problem. This went from people being outraged to people being incredibly blessed, because they got 4 7-star crystals for the price of 2. In this case, maybe it was just 2 crystals for the price of 1. But either way, I did not receive this, even though I think I opened a 7-star that day. It was not in the small window that the crystal was essentially bugged. And I just have to say, this is the best compensation decision I've seen from Kabam since we got the wrong year's selector years ago on July 4th, and Kabam decided to have everybody who did that keep it and get the right one. That was really awesome. That was before Abyss Crystals and so much else. And if I sound old and I'm talking about things from years ago, I am old and I am talking about things from years ago. So, congrats to everybody that got this incredible 7-star crystal correction. This is the most generous compensation I've seen ever in the game for a situation like this. And while I am envious that I didn't open the crystals in this specific amount of time, I am still thankful to those of you that were on the receiving end of this, because I think it's a really cool compensation decision, and I applaud Kabam here. They did the right thing.